Hello everyone, Ron here from RJJ's Reactions. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. I am here with Lana Del Rey and the song is called Fingertips. It's a request from one of the viewers. Thank you very much for that. I have done some Lana Del Rey. There'll be a playlist below now for her so you can check her out and any artist that I've done 2 or more videos for. If you'd like to check them all in one place, some people do. Also, before we jump into the music, just tap on that subscribe button. Make sure that you're subscribed. It helps the channel a lot. If you would like to help some more, check in the description. There are a couple of ways you can donate to the channel, and you can also have your request bumped up to get it in a day or two rather than waiting weeks or longer sometimes on my regular list because it's quite long. But keep those messages coming. I read them all. I answer as many as I possibly can, and that also helps the channel to have messages and conversation back and forth. All right, are you ready? Let's get into Lana Del Rey. Oh, and there will also, of course, be a link to the artist in the description too, so go and support the artist as well. Here we are, Fingertips. We will have a look at the lyrics afterwards as well.
When I look back, tracing fingertips over plastic bags, thinking I wish I could extrapolate some small intention, or maybe just get your attention for a minute or two.
Very sweet tone coming in.
Will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark where I beat the extinction of telomeres? And if I do, will you be there with me? Father, sister, brother, Charlie, stop smoking. Caroline, will you be with me? Will the baby be alright? Will I have one of mine? Can I handle it? Even if I do, they said that I'm mine. It's not fit, but so they said to care.
Beautiful sound, really beautiful sound. I'll back up a little bit, don't worry. But almost sounds like someone on a sea of trouble, a sea of worry. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true, but it sounds a little bit like that. And I am picking up the lyrics here too.
And if I do, they said that I'm mine. It's not fit, but so they said to carry a child. I guess I'll be fine. It wasn't my idea, the cocktail of things that twist neurons inside, but without them I'd die. They say there's irony in the music, it's a tragedy. I see nothing Greek in it. Give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island with Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dave, who hung himself real high in the national park sky. It's a shame and crying rain. I'll get to you, save you. If I take my lamp, find your astral body, let it into my arms, give you 2 seconds to cry, take you home. I'll give you a blanket, your spirit can sit and watch TV by my side. 'Cause baby,
Okay, I was trying to get a good spot to stop, but I'm not sure where a good spot is, so we'll stop there for a second. I was just thinking with the music behind, the swelling and cresting and falling of the music behind her voice almost seems like the ocean or waves coming in, and with the sentiments that are going on here, yeah, I think it all goes really, really well together. Let me back that up as well. And yeah, we'll talk about the lyrics specifically later, so I won't get into them now, but I think you probably know what I mean.
Cause baby, I ran through a time when I I was in Monaco. I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. I had to sing for the prince in 2 hours. Sat in the shower, gave myself 2 seconds to cry. It's a shame that we died. When I was 15, naked next door neighbors did a drive-by, pulled me up by my waist, long hair to the beachside. I wanted to go out like you, swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just not your time, Caroline. What kind of was she to say I'd end up in institutions? All I wanted to do was kiss Aaron Green and sit by the lake, twisting lime into the drinks that they made. Have a babe at 16, the town I was born in, and died. Aaron ended up dead, not me. With the fox rung in your head to send me away, never to come back. Exotic places and people don't take the place of being a child. I give myself 2 seconds to cry. Let it crash over me like the waves in the sea. Call me Aphrodite as they bow down to me. Sunbather, moon chaser, queen of empathy. I give myself 2 seconds to breathe. Go back to being the serene queen. I just needed 2 seconds to be me.
Okay. Awesome. The orchestral sounds were really impressive as well, and draw you in on top of her voice, or behind her voice, I guess. Really, really beautifully done. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than what I've said throughout the song. And of course, we are going to have a look at the lyrics now. Fingertips by Lana Del Rey. When I look back, tracing fingertips over plastic bags, thinking I wish I could extrapolate some small intention, or maybe just get your attention for a minute or two. Very good lyrically. Also, not sure who she's trying to get the attention of, but somebody. Will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark where I beat the extinction of telomeres? And if I do, will you be there with me, father, sister, brother? Telomeres referring to biology, which I am not expert in. But nevertheless, we get the sentiment. Will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark? 10-year mark, is this an expression? I haven't heard this one before, but maybe it's an expression that if you make it for 10 years, if you're in recovery or whatever it is for 10 years, you get better. I don't know. I haven't heard that one. I've heard, if business goes for 6 years, then you're okay usually, or whatever, statistically, things like that. Or a marriage lasts for a certain period of time, then statistically you have a better chance. But I don't know if this is an expression or if I'm reading that wrong, but could be. And if I do, will you be there with me, father, sister, brother? So who will still be around? Or supporting, I guess. Charlie, stop smoking. Caroline, will you be with me? Will the baby be all right? Will I have one of mine? Can I handle it even if I do, it's said that my mind is not fit, or so they said, to carry a child. I guess I'll be fine. So I don't know if this is a song about Lana herself or whether this is a character, because obviously you can write a fictional story about a character, so it could just be a character in the song. Or it could be a little of both, partially autobiography, partially fiction. But at any rate, this person, I don't know, Charlie and Caroline, are they father or a sister or a brother? I'm not sure. Will the baby be all right? So probably sister's baby, I'm guessing. Will I have one of mine? They tell me that her mind is not fit for it, and that's unfortunate because it's always difficult to know who will be okay with a child and who won't. There are people out there, you've probably seen a few, and you wonder, these people should never have had a child. They don't know how to treat the child. They're uncaring. They don't, on the surface they might have looked like the perfect parents, and then it turns out they're not. On the other hand, you see people, you wonder, boy, they shouldn't have children, and then they do, and they're wonderful parents. So it's very difficult to know in your state of mind. And when someone else is questioning your state of mind, I mean, you can do that yourself. In a way, you don't need somebody else to put you down and make you feel even worse about yourself. So I don't know. That's too bad if that's what really happened. Can I handle it even if I do? A lot of parents or people before they become parents, I'm sure that those doubts come crashing in, especially when it gets closer and closer to the birth. Like, oh no, what have I done? Can we handle this? So I'm sure it can be really traumatic for people. I guess I'll be fine. So maybe trying to convince herself. Now, is she convincing herself that she'll be fine if she goes ahead and has a child, or I'll be fine without one? Because it could go either way, right? Trying to convince yourself that you can be fine without. It wasn't my idea, the cocktail of things that twists neurons inside, but without them I die. They say there's irony in the music, it's a tragedy. I see nothing Greek in it, so she doesn't see the tragedy, the Greek type tragedy within it. But that's because when you're living it, you don't see it from that perspective, right? You can see maybe other people's who might even be very similar to yours, but you don't see yours because you're in it. It's a very different viewpoint. It wasn't my idea, the cocktail of things, so that sounds like drugs, particularly if someone's having trouble or a state of mind problems that twists your neurons inside. Yes, but without them I die. Sure, sometimes you need drugs, legal drugs, to keep you to keep you alive, literally. Like some people would die without them. But they do twist neurons. They do cause problems. There are side effects. I'm sure you've seen the ads, listen to them, and underneath the beautiful music and butterflies, you hear all the side effects, including medicines for depression and anxiety. And some of the side effects are you could be severely depressed and commit suicide. It's like, wait a minute, wasn't this supposed to help me? It's doing exactly what I'm trying to avoid. But different drugs work for different people, and even for the same person, you have to change the cocktail. It doesn't always continue to work in the same way. So it's very complicated and complex and nowhere near perfect yet. But they definitely work for some people, and so I'm certainly not totally against them. I'm totally against them for myself. Tried them a long time ago when they thought it was a good idea, and it definitely was not a good idea for me. But there certainly is for others, and maybe my friend would have done better if they'd found the right cocktail. There was a cocktail, but it wasn't the right one, apparently. Um, Give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island with Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dave, who hung himself real high. Who's Dave? In the national park sky, it's a shame, and I'm crying right now. So if she means literally hung, then it sounds like it. I'm crying right now. To get to you, to save you, if I take my life, find your astral body, put it into my arms, give you 2 seconds to cry, take you home, I'll give you a blanket, your spirit can sit and watch TV by my side, because baby, I ran through a time when I felt you were doing it. I'm not sure what that doing it is, but yeah, I mean, there's a sense sometimes with people that, if I kill myself, I'll be with the ones that have already passed on. I don't believe that, but I get the sentiment there. And certainly when you're When you're in massive grief, you can feel that way. I couldn't handle it. I was in Monaco. I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. I had to sing for the prince in 2 hours, sat in the shower, gave myself 2 seconds to cry. It's a shame that we die. Yes, it is a shame in some ways, although if you think of living to eternity, I'm not sure that's great either. So, uh, but yes, of course, it's the loss of someone else. It's incredibly painful. It's hard to explain. There really aren't adjectives, and it's different for different people too. But it is really difficult to handle, particularly if you're young. It's always hard, even as you get older. It's not easy, and it depends who it is and how close you are, etc. But it still just can rip you to pieces. And she had to work. She had to sing. You just have to do it. You had to get over it. She gave herself 2 seconds to cry. When I was 15, naked next door neighbors did a drive-by, pulled me up by my waist, long hair, to the beach side. I wanted to go out like you, swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches. I didn't catch all of these lyrics. I caught the earlier ones and when I was talking, and the music seemed to be swelling and ebbing. Um, but yeah, so this, and I caught some, but I didn't catch this specifically. I wanted to go out like you, swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches, but sometimes it's just not your time. So is this Dave? I guess she's still talking. It can't be Dave because I thought he hung himself. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here, but maybe it's somebody else. So at 15, um, naked next door neighbors did a drive-by, pulled me up by this. So they saw her on the beach or getting out too far and saved her, I guess. I wanted to go out like you, swim with the fishes. So that's what it sounded like. Maybe she's still talking about Dave, but just a different method of death. It's just a different way of dying. That's all. Caroline, what kind of mother was she to say I'd end up in an institution? Okay. All I wanted to do was kiss Aaron Green and sit by the lake, twisting lime into the drinks that they made, have a babe at 16 in the town I was born in, and die. Good Lord. That's yikes. So, Caroline, what kind of mother was she to say I'd end up in an institution? All I wanted to do was okay. So, yeah, I think that's there's not. I can't say anything other than what it already says. I think Aaron ended up dead and not me. So who's Aaron Green? Okay, what the wrong in your head to send me away, never to come back? Exotic places and people don't take the place of being your child. I give myself 2 seconds to cry. So I'm not sure, but I think you put you put her or your child in an institution so you can travel the world. Is that it? And so exotic places and people don't take the place of being your child, or is it her traveling and seeing the world, but it's not the same as being with your parents, being and having that loving relationship. I think maybe that's it. I think I got it wrong at the first part there. I give myself 2 seconds to cry. A bit of hyperbole there, not 2 seconds, I'm sure. 2 seconds is incredibly, like two blinks of the eye, and that's it. So, but a very, very short time. You got to get over it. You got to move on. Uh, Let it crash over me like the waves in the sea. Call me Aphrodite as they bow down to me. Sunbather, moon chaser, queen of empathy. I give myself 2 seconds to breathe, and I go back to being a serene queen. I just needed 2 seconds to be me. So yeah, I think give me some time to be me. I think you need more than 2 seconds maybe, but sometimes you need to take that time and absorb that grief, work through that grief. It's really not easy, I know, and I've done it myself, and I was raised to believe in the work ethic, and so very little stops me from working. It does occasionally, but very, very little. And some of my clients were very surprised at how fast I got back to work after my wife died. But in a way, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to do some routine. It's a good thing to get yourself back. Now, 2 seconds, or when you're just ready to do a concert and you get this news over the telephone, that's too quick. Really, like it's really hard to do that. And you kind of have to uh, set compartments and do the job, and you're set aside for a while, and that can be really painful too, because when you don't release those emotions at the right time, they can get bottled up, and they can do more damage, and it can be more difficult. And then you can't even cry. Sometimes you say, I can't cry now. I could have at the moment, but I couldn't because I had to do this work, and now I can't because I've stalled it somehow. It gets stuck. I'm only speaking from some of my own experiences. I don't know if this is true for everyone, but I've heard some of it is true for other people too. So there you go. And when Lana is writing songs, she's probably at least partly introducing autobiography, experiences that she's had as well. Maybe this is closer to the mark, maybe not. You can let me know. I'm sure lots of people will. But it's really good, very good lyrics. Very sad, of course, but I think there's some hope in there too. You need a couple of seconds to breathe, a little bit more than that, really, and you do need to be you, and you need to work through, not get over, because you can't get over these things. They're never gone. You need to work through how it works for you to get to the next step and to move on and to keep living. And yes, you're going to have all that with you, but over time, it's just a part of it. And almost in a sense, remembering these people and remembering their good sides and their flaws can be, I've talked about this in other songs, can be very helpful. It's helpful to remember, I think, the whole person rather than some imagined angel or whatever. I think it's better to remember the real person, the person you really truly loved and loved you, and and then it can stay with you for the rest of your life. Enough babbling from Ron. Let me know what you think of Fingertips. I thought it was beautifully presented, the Lana's voice and the instruments, the orchestral sounds. Yeah, it's really, really well done. Let me know what else you'd like to hear from Lana Del Rey or anyone else. Check in the description to see how you can bump up your request, and also a link to Lana Del Rey's channel to support her also. Like the video if you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell. That helps if videos are blocked, and quite a few have been lately, and it takes days or longer for them to be released, and it messes up the algorithm so you won't get notified. So subscription is good, but notification bell also helps. All right, it is Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Keep listening, keep having fun. Bye bye for now.